You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead. Kevin.
I'm 6'5", 250, and trained, so bring that shit on, bitches.
I was listening to Truth on Tap with Kevin A. Kierstead last night. I've never really called into Kevin's show or gotten into any banter to him because, to be honest with you, he's way too intellectual for me. I mean, I'm no dummy, but this guy, I don't think I can hang with him verbally in just, discussing the issues. He's a really smart guy.
That's Wes Johnson. Find him at wesjohnson.com. The greatest on-air personality to ever bless the United States of America.
He does a really good show. It's very professionally done. He's on iHeartRadio.
I can sniff out bullies from a mile away, and I love to go after them. I am not alpha male until an alpha male shows up and tries to start bossing me around. That's when the alpha male comes out in me. I'm an alfalfa male. Once an alpha male gets in my face, I'm an alfalfa male. The cowlick pops up on the back of the head.
Every once in a while, you have to go to war.
The plants rise to become high waters. I got my dukes up.
I'm gonna, what do you call it, mute my mic so I don't deafen you, or defecate on you. And, oh shit, he made a poop noise. And then we're gonna...
And I'm ready to rock and roll. Give him a little Jack Johnson, Yeah.
Is now flowing from iHeartRadio. Get your Kierstead fix by Googling Truth on Tap with Kevin A. Kierstead. All the truth you can handle running hot on iHeart, Facebook, Spreaker, and more. You want the truth? You can't handle the truth on Tap.
This is Don Imus. You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead. You're going to like it, or I'll kick your ass. Good God almighty, it must be the Ides of motherfucking March in this bitch today. 3/15/15 at 1309 Pedro Marsupial, if I may. And I may. Crazy stuff we're talking about today. Crazy people saying crazy things. Let me listen to a little feedback here, see if I got a show coming through. You never know these days. I don't know what can you do? The volume's not right. Let me hit the gain a bit. Am I clipping? Yeah, I'm clipping a little. Clip this, bitch. Trim your pubes already. Oh my. It's all freestyle. We don't plan. We don't rehearse. Sometimes I don't even listen to the goddamn clips I'm going to play. I just load them up. Let me turn this shit down. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. God damn it, we're getting there. It's always progress, people. There is no finish line. There's no finish line. You're just getting there the whole time. When you die, just like that, what is the new word I'm going to use? I believe Bajanka? Let's try it now and see if I'm going to go low and then high, low and then high. So try it now. Jank. Yeah, Bajank. Okay, but what about this? Bajank. Oh, hell yeah. You're going to be hearing that a lot. I'm using that term to pick on people. If you're ignorant, if you're racist, if you're sexist, if you're a fucktard, and you're on a low scale, I may go jank, or I may go yeah. So you don't know what angle it's coming from, how loud it's going to be, but you'll know what I mean when I do it. Now, I got to talk a little bit about these people who have been doing these podcasts lately. Yeah. So. See, I'm listening to the feedback, too. My brain's doing a little popcorn thing right now. The brain, you got to exercise the brain. You got to exercise it like any muscle, or it will deteriorate. And it may begin to deteriorate quickly, especially if you're going to add drugs and alcohol in. Or too much of anything, or not enough of anything, a lot of fuckery and fucktardia. If you're fucking around, slapping yourself in the face with a giant sailboat, you'll do damage. You'll do damage to the brain. Now, I think damaged brains are interesting, but I'm not such a scout of science that I'm willing to damage mine intentionally, really for you. Not for your entertainment, no. For the science, yes. Yes, I don't love you people that much, and yeah, we're not going to do that. But I may damage it unintentionally, or I may go ahead and do it for the science in your presence. Yeah, I'm not afraid. I'll do it. I'll do it for the science. Yeah, I will blind you with science, but mostly with defiance. Let's see. Do we want to go right into that? I think I'll stop after this and we'll talk for a minute. I got a couple of clips loaded today. Republicans say the darndest things, number one, but we're not just picking on Republicans. Ozy to the his Elzy, no. Republicans say the darndest things, yes, but also Obama voters. The stupidity of Democrat, they won't say Democratic voters is sad. Gonna have to pick on that guy a little. Yeah, because you gotta be right. You gotta be right. Does Obama have some idiot voters? You bet he does. Did George W. Bush have some idiot voters? Bank on that shit. All presidents have some idiot voters because idiots run across the spectrum in America. And it's not just America. I've been picking on America. But the world's full of some idiots too. It's really not that bad. See, I'm not one to present skewed data, even when I'm clowning. So let me turn this down so I'm not getting my own feedback there. Even when I'm clowning, I like to try to give things correctly. And what that means, what I'm talking about is quantity. Quantity is kind of a big deal. If I try to present the idea to you that most of America or most of the world is retarded, then you're not going to put any faith into that because you know it's not accurate. And when they did a study recently, now studies, you got to look at who's doing them. You got to look at the motivation. You got to look at the fund sources. But if you get them from a reputable area, you got to bank on something. All right. So most of the time we're unsure and we go with a most likely truth. Then you get into cognitive dissonance and people believing shit they know is not true, or if they would just think for a minute, they would know is not true. And it's silly to say something like Democrats are stupid. It's silly to say something like Republicans are stupid. How about some of them are? How about let's point out the ones that are? How about some of them are fucking incredibly bright in both parties? Libertarians, in my view, tend to be they tend to be higher in intelligence. I don't know why. That's been my experience. That is not scientific in any way. But they also tend to think outside the box more. That's something I like about libertarians, even though I'm not one. Because libertarians, in my experience, just my view, tend to abandon the structure of law and order. They abandon that. You can have a libertarian who is incredibly patriotic and dedicated to his country, but you can also have a libertarian that is entirely anarchistic, if that's a word. And if it's not, well, by God damn, it is right now. I just made it a word. I do make up words. When you've sat through senior level advanced grammar at any college, I think you have the right to do it. Yeah. And you also have the right to do this. There it is. Can't say the N-word anymore. Can't say the C word. Well, I could say the C word, but what C word am I talking about? Not cock, because I just said cock. Yeah, so jank. Now, we're going to be talking about the dummies, not just the dummies. Now, I told you earlier, let me go ahead and get this out of the way, because I said I was going to talk about it. First of all, thank you, Rick, on the Fuck You Network, giving me some props in his recent show. I appreciate that. Paul Dembski, who you heard in the intro, giving me mad props on one of the old shows he did. Listen, I get people that are fans that are very friendly to me. And some of you people that do shows on Spreaker call that sucking dick, polish a knob. How about just giving someone a compliment if you think they're doing a good job? That's a crime, and that's not gangsta enough. You fucking idiot. Yeah, you're an idiot. You know what? You're a bajanka. Bajanka. That's right. You're going to deal with it. And I'm going to talk about it. But what I was talking about is some of these shows, there seems to be a thing going on in radio shows. Tell me if you know what I'm talking about here. Someone will find a sound bite or a sound clip like this bajanka that I did. Okay. Now, bajank is a word that I made up, and I made it up to describe one thing. This was about 2-3 years ago. I wanted a new sound. I like onomatopoeia. And for those of you that didn't go to English class, that means essentially words that sound like, when you say them, the sound that they're describing. Sploosh, when you throw a rock into the water, which I'm thinking of some new ones, such as badunka or paklunka. You can use those. 3 syllables is okay because it's generally a 3-syllable sound, but even if it wasn't, padunka da dunky, if logs fall out of a truck, I made it up. You don't know. I just made it up off the top of my head. You can have fun with these words. I like to have fun. Bijank was something I wanted to use to describe specifically when someone on a team that I like scores a goal in hockey. It's generally a 2-syllable movement. What happens? The puck goes in the net, and the net stretches if you were to slow it down. And then the puck comes either flying back out, or like the water bottle goes flying. So there's almost always 2 actions there. So to me, that feels like a bijank, or to say it more clearly, bijank. See, I added an A on the end there, and that's okay. You can go 3 syllables. Doesn't matter. You got to be able to play with words. The problem is when people use established words and don't know what the fuck they mean. But anyway, I'm deciding to use bijank because, as you may or may not know, in my last show, I decided to get a little more politically correct. And what I mean by that is to have manners, because I respect people. Now, I know anybody listening to this that believes in the freedom of speech, you know that you have to test out those boundaries, or you don't know where they are. If you don't know where they are, do you really have freedom of speech? So I'm saying once in a while, you need to go out on your front lawn and yell, "Nigga, crack a spick." Okay? Do it. Now, you might want to run immediately after. Depends where you live. If you're East LA and you're white, you're going to want to run right after you say that, because the black people are not going to hear the crack a spick part. All right? The Hispanics are not going to hear the nigga cracker part. And the crackers aren't going to give a shit what you're saying because they're in their fucking device. They're doing their device. That's all they got. So the bullets will fly, but you'll know you do have freedom of speech, at least by law. Now, what gangsters are going to do to punish you, that's a whole nother story. A whole nother story. If you're ready to deal with that, if you're tough, I'm a tough guy. I'm not afraid of that shit. I'll go out in the middle of the street just to make sure I have freedom of speech and say some dumb shit. Yeah, I'll do that once in a while, but I also find it disrespectful. So if you're going to, it's the same concept as if you're going to go out and cuss somebody out in public for no reason. They didn't even do anything to you, and you just walked up and cuss them the fuck out. Can you do that as a status marker in our society to see if you're allowed to have the freedom of speech in truth? I mean, in actuality, in practice, the functional part? Yeah, you can. And I would almost encourage it, but you do that shit to the wrong person, you will get a cap upon your ass. And I don't know if that's a good thing, but at least you'll know the cops won't come get you. You see the difference? The gangster might shoot you, but the cops aren't coming for you. The courts won't prosecute it. Why? Because you can say what you want. Now, I think freedom of speech should probably end where dead bodies start, such as has been the case in saying fire in a theater. I don't know why saying bomb in an airport gets you flagged. I mean, I know why, but it doesn't immediately threaten lives. It just creates unrest. Whereas fire in a theater, yeah, you got trampled people now. Now you got a problem. So maybe we should be careful the words we use. I don't have a problem with the United States government putting into law that you cannot use certain words at certain times if it is likely that using those words will cause damage or death to other humans. Okay? And I was talking about, there was a post about conspiracy theories lately on, I believe, PolitiFact. I can't remember for sure on this one because I just read fucking endless sources and I don't always bother noting them. But it was something about conspiracy theories, and I said maybe it's time that we started imposing fines, just financial fines, no jail time, on people who spread myths that can lead directly to harm or death to the people who may believe those myths. Now, a freedom of speech advocate might jump up and say, hell's to the no. But I'd have to question that freedom of speech advocate and say, why would you want this to remain free speech? Should it be allowed for people to go out on the internet and say, if you take this immunization, you're going to get autism, when studies exist to show that is not the case, and that not taking some of these, it depends on what you're talking about. There are some conflicting studies on certain of these immunizations you can get, but for the most part, these things came about to save people's lives. Okay, there is no giant conspiracy to kill people. It's very easy to kill people. That's not what they're trying to do. Okay, Hippocratic Oath, doctors, biologists. These people are trying to extend and save lives, to improve the quality of life. That's what their life's work is dedicated to. Who do you think? What do you think? Some guy in a suit came in and said, listen, I'm working for the United States government, and I'm going to pay you $200,000 a year to make people think that they need to take this, this MMR, measles, mumps, rubella, to make them think they